Hi guys, yesterday when I came across the Twitter gossip that Kevin Samuels had passed, I said to myself, this must be I couldn't believe it. I think this probably was just maybe a troll or something. So I continued my work and forgot about it for a few hours and then checked it back later in the evening, and it was sad. It looked like it was true. And when Dennis Berlin, first came out and he started to post a few things, then I said, oh, it likely is. But what I've seen now is a lot of news outlets are covering it. I mean, we're seeing NBC, we're seeing Fox 5, we're seeing Rolling Stones, we're seeing so many different news outlets cover this, which tells us something. One thing that I've done videos on it before, that the Black Manosphere is going mainstream. This has the opposite effect than a lot of people think it will have. Right now I went and searched on Wikipedia, and there is a Wikipedia page now for Kevin Samuels. What a lot of people I think get wrong is that sometimes people go into something for profit, but they carry a message. And Kevin Samuels did have a message. He had a message for men and he had a message for women. A lot of people who came across him first knew his message for men was basically that they need to level up, they need to work harder, they needed to really grind it out while they could so that they could build a better life, and they would achieve more than, with doing that. As usual, a lot of men didn't want that, because who wants to listen to someone who gives them homework? They want to listen to someone who makes them feel better about themselves or denigrates someone who they don't like. And I think Kevin found out immediately, him being very tall and attractive and also dressed in a suit, that several black women would find him to be a high value man from an image perspective. And so when he got on, and especially during the pandemic, a lot of black women and a lot of women were lonely during the pandemic because, during the pandemic, you couldn't leave your house. There are social distancing requirements, restrictions, movement restrictions. So a lot of women were at home alone. And here it was this handsome man in a suit telling them, I will grade you, I will rate you, I can tell you how to improve yourself and get what you want. But what he found, and I think his analytics and the algorithm showed him, that once he started to speak harshly to these women, more people would listen. And this started this thing, and I've heard people call it the sadistic dating coach, that he did, I think, he was untoward these women. He didn't have to say the things that he said to them, but it had the shock value and it had the effect. Now, I'm not going to sit down and say what he did was right, because obviously it hurt a lot of women, and I'm not feeling that I should say, okay, because his message is right. The delivery is very important, and if you're delivering your message in such a harsh way, then it drowns out the actual message. What he was telling women is to be realistic with their standards. And I think a lot of these women were verbally saying something, and they fully understood that, they weren't going to get what they wanted. I mean, a single mother with 4 children, different fathers, saying that she wanted a 6'5" man with a 6-pack and he should be a high value man with no children. That was not going to happen, or even if it was, that would be a rare case. So I mean, his message was clear and easy. Women may have realistic standards, and I think that became very popular. But as you can see now, that message that he has and that catalog of videos, hours and hours of videos that he has, that I've looked into his catalog, and I've seen videos going back to 2017. All that catalog is there. And now what you have is a message. And a lot of people think that someone coming on every day and speaking of what they're speaking about will somehow reinforce their message. I'm not sure about that. what's important is, with a legacy, do others find it value? Do they find value in what in your message was? And if they find value in it, then you have several different messengers. With Kevin's message, time will tell if a lot of people internalize what he said, because there's a lot of things that he did say. I think that what's important is that his template is, he transformed himself into an image guru, and he found a way to become popular. Whether it was right or wrong, he found a way to become popular. And now today, he is not just an ordinary man. I mean, there are at least 12 major publications which are carrying this information to the public. I've seen even the Scottish Sun carry a news on him. This means that more people will be searching to find out what his message is. I don't know if it will resonate with them, but he has done something that I think maybe 5 years ago, I heard that he envisioned that he could do this. I don't know if he knew he would get this big. So I want to say rest in peace, Kevin Samuels, because, I'm trying to separate his profit making in the last 2 years and try to look at the overall message that he had for black men, which was to improve their image, work harder. For black women, I think what he wanted to say to those who are unmarried is, be realistic with your standards. But I thought his delivery was too harsh, and I thought that delivery is why a lot of women became angry with him. So this is going to be, I think, a long-standing saga to see how long his message lives. I don't know, but I do think that he was an original character, an original person. Let's see how this message goes. Let's see the longevity of it. Thanks, guys.